Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner. In today's episode we are going to be doing another deck profile, and it's going to be on one that you guys have been wanting to see so very much ever since I first did a video of it using Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and that would be none other than Red Eyes Hieratic Dragons. Now, what can I say about this deck? Well, first up, it's basically an Atom Turbo, but it's an also glorious version of Atom Turbo, because you can be doing your rank 6 stuff, but there are times where you're going to get certain cards in your hand that just let you do so much more. I'm talking level 7 plays, summoning a dragon that nobody ever sees coming, burning for damage, making a rank 7. Just, this deck has plays out the wazoo, and all it comes at the cost of is just having some really bad hands at times. I mean, I will not lie. Standard Hieratics are more consistent and solid than this, but when this goes off, oh boy, does it go off. So yeah, we're going to get on to this with the deck list. And as far as explaining some of the wombo combos, I don't think I'll really do that now. I'll just save that for like its own video, because I could be going on for days about the crazy shit that I've done here. You've seen some of the stuff though on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. So yeah, I'll just give you guys this deck list to provide you guys with an idea of what to try and go for, and then you too can try and play your own way of Hieratic Red Eyes. Let's make this deck popular, people, because I honestly think it will be beatable regardless of what the ban list does. So first, I'm running my Hieratic lineup of 2 Aset, 2 Neptet as my 5s, and then for my 6s, triple Tefnut and triple Sue. Standard ratios. This is what I've been liking with Hieratics. You could bump the Aset line up by a couple if you don't want to run a couple cards in here. I took out Neptet and an Aset in order to make room for Forbidden Lance, because people dark hole me when I make my pushes all the frickin' time, and I am sick and tired of that. So, no. You are not going to dark hole my Darkness Dragon. He's going to sit there at 3,200 attack, roughly, and there's nothing you can do about it. Then for my vanillas, first I'm running for my 6s 2 copies of Meteor Dragon. Yes, Chain Disappearance is a card, but nobody main decks that right now. They just side it, and in games 2 and 3 you're going to be siding out your Red Eyes engine regardless, and then you're going to be bringing stuff like Decree and Trap Stun. That's probably the one of the really great, awesome things about this deck is your Red Eyes lineup is about 7 cards, and those 7 cards can easily be 3 copies of Decree, 2 copies of Trap Stun, and then 2 more cards of whatever you choose, even more depending on what else you side. But yeah, Meteor Dragon is just used alongside your Sue in order to make your Atoms, Strike Bouncers, Excavabeetles, and whatnot. Plus he's also useful for a certain power card in this deck. Then, the heart and soul of this deck, 1 copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon, and for this one I am using my Legend of Blue Eyes Red Eyes, because original artwork is amazing. It actually is. The hollow in this one is a bit different. I think it's in particular the claws and the horns. They're just a bit lighter colored than his Starter Deck Joey artwork. Funny that, but yeah. What can I really say about this guy? He is my favorite monster in the entire game, and that has not changed despite the introduction of other cards like Darkness Metal Dragon, Lad, Red Dragon Archfiend, and Galaxy Eyes, and so forth. But Red Eyes is key to a couple plays. He makes a certain monster live, he makes 2 spell cards live, actually make that 4 spell cards playable, and he also sets up rank 7 Exceeds monsters, which you don't really see out of Hieratics. And then for the other big card in this deck, 2 copies of Red Eyes Darkness Dragon. Remember this card? You know, the very first ever boss monster of a structure deck in the quote-unquote support for dragons? Back in the day, structure decks didn't have 5 broken cards. They only had 1 card in their entire thing that was new, and then the rest were reprints. Dragon's Roar's reprints of note were what? Snatch Steal, Foolish Burial, Mystical Space Typhoon, and the Armed Dragon series? Just Armed Dragon 3 and 5. Armed Dragon level 7 wasn't in this, and of course Dark Armed Dragon was like years away. I also had Twin-Headed Behemoth, and he was limited back then for some reason. But, yeah. You also got Mass Dragons in that set, and it was overall not that bad of a structure deck, especially if you were just doing structure deck duels. Having Snatch Steal was so good. Anyway, so Darkness Dragon is an extremely difficult to summon monster. He cannot be normal summoned or set. He cannot be special summoned except by tributing one Red Eyes Black Dragon you control, and that's only from the hand. So if he ever hits the graveyard, he's dead. But for all of this, you get a 2400 beater who gets 300 additional attack for every dragon in the graveyard, and this deck runs about 20 of them. So in the late game, this guy gets big. And even in the early game, depending on how you bring him out, he's probably going to be sitting at about 3000 attack. I mean, that was the average time that I brought him out by just going Tefnut, Sue, bring out the Red Eye, sack it off for Darkness Dragon, and Sue like pops a monster, and then he gets bigger. So he sits at around 3000 to 4000 attack, and yeah, he just gets too big for some people to handle. And with Forbidden Lance, you can also just keep him safe, and he's still pretty big for other things to get over. Darkness Dragon can steal a surprising number of games, and nobody just ever sees his card coming. And then rounding out the Red Eyes is, of course, Darkness Metal Dragon, who needs no explanation. He is the best dragon in this game. Then for the non-dragons in support. So, originally I was running Card in my Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro version, but then I stitched those in order to run a different engine, and that would be the Tour Guide engine. Now, I've mentioned that running this in Heretics is a bit subpar, but in this deck, there are going to be those times where you just have those really ugly hands of just level 7s, Red MD, Darkness Dragon, and Infernal Fire Blast. But then you draw into the Tour Guide, and that allows you to go into Leviathan Dragon or Zen Mains, and Leviathan Dragon is a very good play because of one other card that this pulls out. The main reason why I'm running this is because she can pull out Versago the Destroyer, who acts as a substitute for any fusion material for a fusion monster. You just have to have the other card. So, what this is used is to get out Meteor Black Dragon from the extra deck, and all you have to do is just use this in either Meteor Dragon or Red Eyes, and you have yourself a 3500 attack beat stick, and all it took was a Dragon's Mirror. So Tour Guide is useful for the early game, for setting up stuff and whatnot, and it's just a very good card in here. And if you cannot run Card D because you just can't get it, then Tour Guide plus Versago is extremely important, because being able to use Meteor Black Dragon without taking out your Red Eyes Black Dragon from the graveyard, which is important because without Red Eyes Black Dragon, your Darkness Dragons and Infernal Fire Blast become dead. Being able to do that is important. So yeah, if you're going to run this deck, I highly suggest going out of your way to get some Tour Guides. I mean, it's not that bad of a card right now. I think it's like, what, 20 bucks? That's still far better than when it was 1 year ago. And it's still a cheaper card than Card. I mean, isn't a playset of Tour Guides worth one card? Rounding things out are 2 Veiler and 1 Gores for hand traps. They're just needed right now. And that's it for the monsters. Yeah. Let's see how many dragons we have in here, just so we can get an idea of how much power Red Eyes Darkness Dragon is going to get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 3,000. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm not even going to continue tallying that up, but needless to say, yeah. In theory, suppose Red Eyes Darkness Dragon is the last card you draw. Oh boy, the attack he's going to get. But still, you can see that in the late game he's going to be like plus 2,000. That's creepy. Okay. So for the spells, it's pretty much your typical thing for Heretics. You've got triple MST. Now, the original decks that I got this idea from, they were main decking a Wing Beat of Giant Dragon over no MSTs, and I just don't really like that. Wing Beat is great in the side, though. I will not deny that, but I like just having a form of spell and trap removal that's usable right on the spot, not needing to have a Tefnut or a Tefnut or an Aset in order to be live. So, yeah. Just back row hate, and then I've got Convocation to search out my Heretics. And then Lance, because Dark Hole and Torrential Tribute are cards, Dark Hole especially, and even Lightning Vortex. I see some people play that. I just don't like having my shit get blown up after I go to all the trouble of making that. Then we get to the more fun stuff. 2 copies of Infernal Fire Blast. 2400 burn because a Red Eye summoned off the effect of a Hieratic monster. His attack may be 0, but his original attack is still 2400. So you could go Tefnut, Sue, pull out a Red Eyes, burn them for 24 or even 1400 damage, and just sack off the Red Eyes for a Darkness Dragon. Or just normal summon an Esset and copy Red Eyes to make Big Eye and that kind of stuff. So Fire Blast can help set up stuff. And not to mention, 2400 burn damage is the difference between whether you being able to OTK them or not. I mean, a typical Hieratic push can consist of about 7500 damage. Infernal Fire Blast guarantees a win there. And allows you to play Rongors. Oh, poke with Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger, then poke with Red Eyes Darkness Dragon. They drop a Gors. You main phase 2, banish the Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger to drop Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon from your hand. Revive a Red Eyes. Fire Blast them for game. That kind of crazy stuff can be done in this deck. Then 2 copies of Dragon's Mirror because it can tutor out a 3500 and 5000 attack beat stick respectively. Then we got the Trinity. And that's it for the main deck. So let's get on to the extra deck. They consist of triple Atum and 2 Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger, 1 proxy copy of number 11 Big Eye. You make this with Red Eyes plus a set, and basically he's a 2600 beater that lets you detach material from him to take control of a monster your opponent controls forever. He just can't attack during the turn and use his effect. So it's a really huge dick move ability, and yeah, I don't have one and I wish I did. Then running it out, 2 copies of Strike Bouncer, Excubedal, Tyr Adrius, Tyraz, Zamanes, Leviathan Dragon, and then our fusion monsters of choice, 5-Headed Dragon and Meteor Black Dragon. Like I said, this guy is more playable when you are running Torgai plus Forsago, as all it takes is a Dragon's Mirror, and then you can just banish either a Meteor Dragon or a Red Eyes alongside Forsago in order to drop this guy. And there are those times where you don't have enough in the graveyard for a 5-Headed Dragon, so you can just simply go into Meteor Black Dragon and just proceed to push your shit in for 5,000, I mean 3,500. 5-Headed Dragon is, of course, one of the biggest things you could ever drop in this deck during the late game, and it's quite possible to simply go into Dark Hole and they just play Dragon's Mirror and then game shot them. And it's hilarious when that happens. And that's it for the deck. So, I hope you guys really enjoyed this, because I know I sure as hell did. Any chance to play Red Eyes Black Dragon is a great chance, and I have been testing this for about 2 weeks, and it's been fairly decent in play. Its only real weaknesses are, of course, heavy back row decks and its own bad hands at times. But if you're willing to play around that, then you too can learn the ways of the Red Eyes Black Dragon Hieratics, and I hope this gives you guys some ideas for your own builds, because I would love to see this take off. There are a couple builds floating around on Duelist Grounds, which is where this thing originated from, at least to my knowledge, and I have seen some people on TCG Player comment that this build has popped up with their locals in a couple places. So I'm hoping that you guys out there who want to try this deck can come up with your own spin on this, and then give me video responses or links to them. I want to see how other people take this deck. Until then, you guys, thank you all for watching, and remember, if it ain't blue, it's not true.